Hello, 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 and this is How from Eddie Obeng. Daily, I bring you something different, a different way to mold your world, a different way to shape your world. But this one is a different way to escape from really tricky situations in your world. It's called High Ground, and it's a maneuver. It's popularized by Scott Adams, but there are some great examples, and I'll share you one with you as you learn how to use this. So let's jump onto Cube and see what we can find. So welcome to Cube, where the sun is always shining. Oh, there's a cloud up there. That's nice. Okay, so this is the Agile Cubicle, really useful cubicle if you're running Agile work, because it allows everyone to get together, and there are plenty of spaces and areas where you can work and do your analysis and your sprints and so on. But here I'm just going to work on this little whiteboard over here where it says High Ground. So I want you to think about a situation which is stressful, maybe not for you, but think about this chap. Hopefully he looks suitably stressed. There are all these microphones in his face. He's trying to think of what to say. I was actually looking for an image of somebody sweating, and I couldn't find one of somebody sweating. But that's what I was hoping to do. And you end up sweating when you're put in a gotcha situation. The classic gotcha situation is when you're asked a question a little bit like, when did you stop secretly drinking at work? Okay. That sort of question is a gotcha, because there's no right way of saying it, because you can't say, I haven't stopped secretly drinking, because then they just cut it and clip it and so on. You can't say, why would you, there's no correct answer to that. And the classic masterclass on how to deal with gotcha questions and how to deal with questions where you can't answer it without implicating yourself. When did you stop beating your wife? If you say Friday, then that means you were beating your wife, and etc., etc. So it's one of those gotchas. Steve Jobs did a great job. There was a headache for Apple called Antenna Gate. I can't remember which model it was, because there are all so many of them and they all look the same. But this particular model, version 3, 4, 5, I don't know. But when you picked it up and you put it against your head, the signal cut out. It was called Antenna Gate, because they launched this new phone and it literally didn't work. If you held it far away from you, it was fine. The moment you put it to your head, it cut out. And people were writing about it. It was all over the press, and it was going to be a nightmare, because they were saying, oh, Steve Jobs has failed, and everyone's thinking about how to laugh at Apple. And I think it's 17 words, he just basically turned the whole world round. The words he said are these words written in here in green. Okay, he said, we're not perfect. Phones aren't perfect. We all know that. Pause. But we just want to make all our users happy. And overnight, all the harping, all the nastiness basically stopped. 17 words. And this is a high ground maneuver. They were all out there in the weeds saying how awful it was, and it cut out after 10 seconds and so on. They were all accusing him. He didn't go down into the weeds with them, where you basically would lose the war. Generally, you win wars by taking the high ground. He went onto the high ground. Okay, yeah, sure, there are all these things. He acknowledges it, he embraces it. We're not perfect. Then he extends it. He says, phones aren't perfect. You can't argue with any of that. But now he's got you to agree that all phones aren't perfect. So you're no longer just thinking about Apple phones. We all know that. And so now he's engaged you, because you're going, yeah, I'm part of that. I know that. And then he says why it's happening. We all want to make our users happy. And this is what the basis of the high ground PET is about. It basically is when you have a question which makes you feel trapped, don't deny it, don't argue with it, embrace it. Yeah, bad things happen. You will have had bad things happen. You've seen them all over the news. We all know this is a headache for the whole world. But really, we have to do something, because people are starving and we don't want them to starve anymore. That is a high ground maneuver. It gets you out of any trap, any trick. If you're in a meeting and you're pitching to a customer and one of the staff, I don't know, the CIO wants to torpedo you, they will throw you one of these horrible questions. If you are working with a team and one of the team members doesn't want to participate, they'll throw you one of these horrible questions. And when you apply high ground, you'll find you escape like a wonderful judo move, and you'll be free. So that's high ground. Great pet for getting out of impossible places. Put it into practice. Read more about it in the quick guide. Subscribe to the newsletter. Probably with this one, Only you should subscribe. Hide it from all your colleagues, because otherwise they'll be able to high ground you when you make sure. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay, so I've been Eddie Obeng. I'll see you again tomorrow.